Hey everybody, it's Tag from Team Waka Waka, NS2. Today I'm going to show you, and not really many other tutorials actually cover this, how to make a map for NS2 and actually get it playable in the game, ready to go. A lot of other things focus on the functionality of Spark and how to create faces, all that stuff. I'm not going to touch on that much for this video. What I'm going to show you is how to get a playable level into NS2. So, first off, as you've probably seen, let's start by just making a room, as you need a place for people to be in. So, I'm going to extrude this down, way down. This won't be a very large room, but it should suit our purposes. You know what, actually, no it won't. I need to make it a little bigger, just for, okay, that's, sure, 500 by 800, that should be fine. We'll extrude down. And we have a floor, wall, ceiling. Okay, let's start. Good. Now I'm going to add a player entity, rather a ready room start entity. This is where people will come when they first join the server or when you start it for testing. Normally, you would want about, in your ready room, you would want 16 by 6 by 2. So like you would want 32 of these guys in your ready room organized around. Since this is a map quote unquote in development, we're just going to make one entity to start with. Let's also make a little recessed hallway so that I can show you one other thing too. I'm not worried about how things line up and stuff, so I know it's way off, but we're not going to be focusing on texturing or any of that right now, so just make a simple little hallway, okay? Now there's a couple things that you need for NS2 to actually know that this is an NS2 map and that to make it playable. So, let me go through what those things are. We went through one of them already, okay? A marine, which is the ready room start entity. You can see up there, okay? The next thing is going to be an entity called NS2 game rules. This needs to be somewhere on your map, just somewhere. You're not going to see it in game, but remember where it is. You should only have one of them, or the engine may do some funky things. There's two more other things. Well, actually, there's a few more other things, but let's focus on two of the most important things you need for NS2 to actually launch this and understand. And you know what? Let's pretend that that's our ready room, okay, quote unquote, and we'll make a separate room for the actual what you would be mapping. Again, extrude that down. Okay, now in here, let's say this was the quote unquote level, okay? You're going to build 2 tech points, okay, and one over here. This is because the game needs a place to drop an alien hive and a marine start base, or base start, in order for you to join a team. Okay, so far so good. And of course, if you're mapping and you didn't want to select entities, you can turn off the little filter down here at the bottom. And then when I select this, it won't select any entities. Again, I'm not going to go too much into functionality of Spark Editor. I'm going to save that for the next tutorial. But we have, so far, the NS2 game roles, a ready room start, and 2 tech points. To actually join a team, you need yeah, you guessed it, a team join entity. However, if you're just mapping something in the beginning stages, you don't really need this, because you can use console commands to join a team, those being J1 to join Marines, J2 to join aliens, and J3 for random, and then spectate, actually just spectate, launches spectate. Now this you would scale to fit your hallway or corridor or doorway. Typically this, you see this around, inside of a doorway. So I'm just gonna not worry about positioning too much and just kind of get something there, okay, enough for him to run into. And this will show in the middle, which you'll see in the game, how many players are on that team, etc. But for your ready room, you should design a door archway and, put marine, whatever it is you're going to be doing. Who knows? You may be making a map for a different mod, in which case these entities wouldn't apply. For combat, etc. I don't know if you need tech points or not, at least that are visible on the map. You may. You know what? Actually, yeah, you do. You do need those tech points, but it may have a different. It may have a different rule. I don't know if it's NS2 game rules or if it's like combat rules or what, but that's something that you'd have to look into, because I have not made a combat map yet that I needed to be playable with the combat mod. Either way, even if you are making a combat map, which I'm in the process of doing, you don't need that yet. I've just built the 2 tech points, game roles, ready room, and team join. One other thing you will need, okay, and this is important. Let's say you're making an outdoor map and we don't have a ceiling or whatever, okay? You should, just as good practice, because you can't find every leak in your level anyways, design a skybox to surround your entire level, okay? So I'm going to move that up a bit, and then I'm going to scale it down. And now we have a large room / world that our whole level fits in. If this was like an outdoor section, like think of Crevice on Summit or something, and you wanted someone to fall and die, you should use that entity, which I think is Death Trigger. Yeah, so you could technically, on the whole floor, put a same deal here. Scale this up. Whatever. Okay. So now if someone jumps down there, they will die. Okay. One other thing you need. This is important. If I was to look at this how the engine would render it, I'd go to textured lit. It would be even darker than this. I mean, like, unable to see anything. Even with your flashlight, it'd be like you could see a couple walls, etc. So you need some ambient light, okay? This isn't detailed light that you're going to design your whole level with, but we just want some ambient light until we start working on finer detailed light in interior places and stuff like that. So I dropped an ambient light. I'm going to increase the max distance because you can see it only has an area of effect that's pretty small right now. Let's try 2500. Yeah, that's even bigger than I wanted, so let's just do 1500. Okay. That's enough to cover the areas we're working on and get us enough light. This is important for when you're actually working on your map, because you'll want to see if a room is big enough or whatever the case may be. Intensity needs to be turned up here too because it's just not bright enough. If you want something that looks kind of outdoorsy, I found like 40 or higher kind of helps as long as it's within your area of effect. But it's gonna matter. So the size of whatever you're working on is gonna affect this a lot. Really, I think that is all you need. I didn't have to make a separate ready room either. I could have just as easily put the NS2 game rules and a marine in there, and I didn't need the team join, like I said, because I can just join a team using console commands until this is ready. However, I was just thinking this room is going to be pitch black, I believe, or at least rather dark, which is fine. You can see, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about how dark it is. So, in order to prevent that, I don't know if the ambient light will affect this or not. This is kind of a tutorial for me too, but we'll see. So I'm going to save this as ns2_test. And then I actually have an external tool which I got from the forums, which is called TestMap. It's just a batch script. Let me see if I can find it here so that I can get the contents of it. Okay, that's all that is in there. So what this will do is copy our map file into our maps folder. It will then launch NS2. I will try and find a link to this and put it up in the description, but if not, just go back, copy what was there, put it in, wherever you work on maps, which for me is my desktop. You need to have this part in the arguments. So quote, $, parentheses, ItemPath, and parentheses, quote, $, ItemFileName, and parentheses, quote. And I just called the tool TestMap. Okay? So now when I go to this, it will actually launch NS2 for me. And let's see if this keeps streaming, because I'm not sure if I need to change something here or not. Okay. Beautiful. It actually launched NS2 for us, and it launched our map. The ambient light does go through walls, so that's very, very good. It means you can work on indoor and outdoor areas. They won't look exciting, but especially untextured, etc. But you can see our join one, team 1 is there. If I walk through it, you'll now see we have the bare necessities here. We have a single egg, a hive, a tech point, and that. And there is an outdoor area too, which, let me join the alien team. And if I go out there, you'll see the ready room. It doesn't have outside faces, so it's going to look a little transparent. But if I jump down, yes, I did die of natural causes. So, really, that's about it. This will give you everything you need. There is one other entity I forgot. If you try and bring up the minimap, you can see that it doesn't really understand where things are. So I'm going to show you that real quick. So for your minimap, let's say that this was encompassed our entire playable world. You need an entity here called minimap_extents. Okay? And you want to scale that around your entire playable area that you want to be included in the game. This isn't the best perspective to scale from. Oops, okay. Okay, so that should now include those tech points. There's one other thing you need, and that's for the minimap and for when you're calling out orders, etc., so the game knows where you are. That entity, or those entities, as you will have several of them on your final map, is called the location entity. You want to encase your room with this entity, or rather I'm going to do half of it. Okay. And now here, oops, hit space to go to our select tool, but we have that selected now. In the name, you're going to put the, whatever it is. So this might be the alien side, or the west side, or whatever. Same thing, you would make one for the other side. So let me just see if I can just do this real quick with a copy and paste, and then move. Yep, I can. Cool. We'll call this marine side. Now, let's say you have static tech points that you want to always be, and of course I didn't scale these up, which I really should. Okay, and same for you, just so, whatever, it covers it. Let's say I need these to be static tech points for my map, like I always have marine start in one place, I always have alien start in another. Just click on your tech point entity, and then you can change it to marine only random start. And same thing with this. Alien only random start. You can also change it for explore mode, what it would start in, etc. Save this. Now I should hopefully have a minimap and 2 locations. So we're going to go to test map again. I'm going to have to launch it by hand here. It still copied it into my map directory, but it didn't launch the map. Oops. No, I typed that wrong. That's fine. Just do it again. Like I said, it did copy this version into there, so as long as I saved it. I did save it, right? I'm sorry, I'm not doing too well right now. Let's just use the console key. Okay, we do have now the entire minimap extent shown, along with the wall there that I did not quite want to be showing, but that's fine. We off the face of the earth, and I moved past the trigger death too. Well, that's about it. I'll focus more on actual Spark usage and more advanced things later, but I wanted to get you guys to a state where you could actually have a playable map. Again, a lot of things in here, well, some of them were unnecessary, like the trigger death and the team join. So here's the required items one more time. You have to have a ready room start, you have to have an NS2 game rules, and you need to have 2 tech points. If you don't care about your minimap right then, you don't need any of the other stuff. Also, you'll need a light, because until you design your individual room light, you'll need to light it somehow. So again, use an ambient light, which covers whatever area you're working on. And make sure the intensity is bright enough. Okay, thanks again. This is Tag from Team Waka Waka, covering how to get a Natural Selection 2 map playable. So, thanks again. I will make a more advanced tutorial later.